this morning can go in 100 different directions for you, and you already feel it. Decisions are waiting like unopened messages on your heart. Some are small and quiet. Others feel heavy enough to bend your shoulders. Before you rush into all of it, pause here for a moment and bring your heart into the gentle light of God's presence. You do not have to figure everything out before you come to Him. You do not have to be perfectly calm or perfectly strong. You just need to be willing to place today in His hands. Right now, imagine that every decision, every yes and every no that waits for you today is resting in your hands. Choices about work, about family, about money, about health, about your future. Some that you have avoided, some that you have already made and are second guessing. And slowly in your heart, you begin to lift your hands toward God. You do not have all the answers, but you know this. His wisdom is higher, His love is deeper, and His timing is better than anything you could arrange on your own. Scripture whispers to you, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him and He will make straight your paths. Proverbs 3:5-6. This is where you are right now, in the trust and in the not understanding, asking Him to make your path straight. You might feel torn between options that both seem good, or stuck between what is comfortable and what is right. You might be afraid of making the wrong move and disappointing God, disappointing others, or disappointing yourself. Hear this gently. God is not standing over you with a scorecard. He is standing with you as a Father who knows your heart even better than you do. When you say, God, I want to put my decisions in your hands, He looks first at your desire to trust, not at your perfection in choosing. Today, let this be your quiet inner posture. Lord, I want you more than I want control. I want your will more than I want to be right. As you sit with that desire, notice what is making you anxious right now. Maybe there is a conversation you are dreading. Maybe there is an opportunity you are scared to take. Maybe you feel pulled in too many directions, and it seems that whatever you choose, you will disappoint someone instead of carrying that alone. Begin to talk to God in the simplest way. You can say in your heart, God, this decision is too heavy for me. I place it in your hands. Guide me. Close the doors that are not from you. Open the doors that lead me closer to your heart. You do not need fancy words. You just need honesty. This morning is a chance to move from overthinking to surrender. Overthinking replays every scenario and still leaves you restless. Surrender says, God, I will do my best, but I will not pretend to be my own savior. When you put your decisions in His hands, you are not becoming passive. You are choosing partnership. You still think, you still discern, you still act, but you no longer act as if you're alone. You ask for His light over every step. You trust that even if you misstep, He can redeem and redirect. That is what grace does. It doesn't just forgive the past, it gently leads the future. Now bring one specific decision to mind, not all of them at once, just one, the one that keeps returning to your thoughts. See it clearly. Maybe it has a name, a place, a number, a date attached to it. Maybe it involves someone you love. Maybe it's something only you and God truly know about. Hold it in front of your heart and whisper on the inside, God, this one is yours. Ask Him for the courage to choose what is true, not just what is easy. Ask Him for the peace to accept His not yet or His no, if that is what will guard your soul. Ask Him for the humility to change direction if He shows you a better way. You may feel that you've made poor decisions in the past and that those choices are still haunting you. Regret can be loud in the morning, whispering that you can't be trusted with the new opportunities, that you will only repeat the same mistakes. But listen instead to the heart of God, who is always calling you forward, not trapping you in yesterday. The cross is not just a symbol of pain. It is a sign that even our worst decisions are not stronger than His mercy. Today, you can ask Him, "Heal the places where my past choices have wounded me and others. Teach me through them, but do not let them define me." God's mercy is wider than your history. His grace can grow wisdom where there used to be shame. As you entrust your decisions to Him, also entrust the pace of your life. You might want answers now, clarity now, breakthrough now, but God often leads one step at a time, not giving you the full map, only the next turn. That can be frustrating, and yet it is the place where faith becomes real. If you knew everything in advance, you would not need to trust. So when the path feels unclear, instead of panicking, you can simply say, "God, show me the next faithful step." Not 10 steps ahead, just the next one. Your Father walks beside you at today's speed, not tomorrow's anxiety. Bring Him the decisions that touch your relationships, the way you speak to those you love, the boundaries you need to set, the forgiveness you hesitate to offer, the person you are thinking about, walking toward, or walking away from. Ask God to shape your choices in love, not in fear. Love does not ignore truth. It tells the truth with compassion. Love does not cling from desperation. It holds open hands, trusting that what is from God will not require you to compromise your dignity as His child. So you can pray in your heart, "God, teach me to choose what honors you and protects the love you've placed in my life." Then think about decisions around your work and responsibilities, the jobs you take, the tasks you accept, the way you use your energy. You may feel pressure to say yes to everything so that no one will be disappointed. But when every yes is driven by fear or people-pleasing, your soul grows thin. Hand this area to God too. Ask Him, "Show me where to say yes with courage and where to say no with peace. Help me believe that my worth is not measured by how much I do, but by the fact that I belong to you." When you surrender your calendar and your to-do list, you are telling God that you want your day to be fruitful, not just busy. Money and security can also weigh heavily on your decisions. You might be wondering if you'll have enough, if you're making wise choices, if a risk is faithful or foolish. God is not indifferent to these questions. He knows the bills, the needs, the dreams you carry. Place your finances in His hands by praying, "God, teach me to be a good steward, not a fearful owner. Show me how to be generous and responsible at the same time. Guide me away from things that only promise relief but chain my heart." He can lead you into choices that protect both your peace and your integrity. Remember, He is not just the God of your soul. He is the God of your reality too. When worry rises up again, because it will, even after you've prayed, come back to this truth. You are not a failure for feeling anxious. You are human. And every time anxiety appears, you have a fresh chance to hand it back to God. Scripture reminds you, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:6-7. That peace is not the absence of noise outside of you. It is the quiet strength of Christ inside of you, guarding your heart as you move through the day. So, as this morning unfolds, picture yourself walking into your day with your hand resting in God's. Every time you face a choice, what to say, how to respond, where to focus, you can pause for a breath and in your heart, look up. A simple inner sentence is enough. God, I choose to do this with you. When you are unsure, God, show me if this is from you. When you feel tension, God, I place this pressure back into your hands. Over time, this becomes less of an effort and more of a reflex. You start to live from a place of quiet surrender instead of constant striving. You are not weak for wanting to put your decisions in God's hands. It is actually one of the strongest things you can do. It means you are humble enough to admit that you do not see everything and brave enough to trust the one who does. It means you are willing to be led, not by fear of what could go wrong, but by confidence in the one who can bring good out of anything. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will act. Psalm 37:5. As you commit your way today, remember, the outcome is not all on you. You are responsible for your yes to God. He is responsible for the fruit. As this prayer sinks into your heart, let this be the quiet conclusion you carry into the rest of your day. Today, you do not walk alone. Today, you do not decide alone. Today, you will show up, you will think, you will choose, but you will do it as someone held, guided, and deeply loved by God. Every decision you place in His hands becomes an opportunity for grace to move. So step into this day with a surrendered heart and a steady spirit, knowing that the God who holds the universe is also holding you, and every choice you entrust to Him in His faithful hands. Maybe you woke up today already feeling behind, like the day started running before you were ready to stand. In that rush, it is easy to slip back into autopilot, doing what you have always done, deciding the way you have always decided, out of habit, fear, or pressure. So in this moment, pull your heart back for just a second and remember, you have another way. You can choose right now to hand over the driver's seat. You can say inside, God, I do not want to run this day on my own strength. Walk with me into every room, into every conversation, into every hidden thought. Sit with me in every decision, even the ones that seem small. When you live like this, ordinary moments begin to feel different because you are no longer carrying them alone. Think of the first voices that will shape your day, the messages on your phone, the expectations at work, the moods of the people around you. All of these can pull on you and push you into choices that do not match the person you are becoming in God. So before those voices get too loud, bring your attention to the one voice that knows you completely and loves you fully. You can whisper in your heart, God, be louder than my fear today. Be clearer than my confusion. Be kinder than my inner critic. When you let His voice steady you, you begin to decide not only with logic, but with a heart rooted in His love. As you get ready to step into the day, picture yourself standing at a crossroads with many signs pointing in different directions. Some say comfort, some say approval, some say control, and one quietly says trust. The road of trust is often not flashy. It does not always promise instant relief or quick answers, but it is the road where God walks closest with you. When you choose His way, it might look like telling the truth even when it is awkward, staying silent instead of defending yourself, apologizing first, or choosing patience instead of reaction. These are all decisions too, small, repeated choices that shape your soul. When you place them in His hands, you are saying, I want who I am becoming to matter more than how easy this feels. Let your prayer stretch into the hidden corners of your heart, the places you usually avoid looking at. Maybe there are motives you are not proud of, wanting to be seen, wanting to win, wanting to control outcomes. This is not about shaming yourself. It is about bringing reality into the light of God's mercy. You can admit, God, sometimes I want my way more than I want your way. Sometimes I choose what impresses people more than what pleases you. I bring even that to you. When you are that honest, something beautiful happens. God does not turn away. He leans in. He takes even your tangled intentions and slowly unties them, teaching you to want what brings life, not just what brings relief. As the morning light slowly brightens, let it remind you that clarity often comes gradually. You may not wake up with a sudden knowing of exactly what to do in every situation, but you can trust that God will give you enough light for the next step when you need it. Your role is not to see the entire path. Your role is to stay close to the one who does. So when you feel tempted to panic because you cannot see far ahead, pause and breathe this in. I do not need to see everything. I just need to stay with God in this moment. That shift from demanding full control to choosing daily closeness changes the way you carry every choice. Let your mind rest for a moment on the people who will be touched by your decisions today. Family members, co-workers, friends, even strangers who will cross your path. Sometimes we forget how much our inner choices, whether we choose patience, forgiveness, or resentment, spill into the lives around us. Ask God quietly, shape my decisions so that they reflect your heart to the people I meet. Help me respond to others not just from my mood, but from your love living in me. When you think this way, your choices become more than tasks to get through. They become ways to bring a little more of God's goodness into the world. If you are facing a decision that feels like a cliff, where one move could change everything, know that God is not distant from that edge. He is not watching from far away to see whether you will fall or fly. He is standing right beside you, holding you, offering wisdom through His Spirit, through His Word, and sometimes through the gentle counsel of others. You can ask Him, send the right people into this situation. Give me the humility to listen. Help me recognize your guidance even if it comes in quiet, ordinary ways. Often His guidance is not a dramatic sign, but a deep, steadying peace that gently rises when you are close to His will, or a discomfort that nudges you away when something is not right. Pay attention to that. He lives in you. His Spirit does not stay silent. Let this morning be a place where you also surrender the timeline of your decisions. You may feel pressure to decide now, to act now, to resolve everything now. But not every decision is meant to be rushed. Some things need prayer, conversation, waiting, and listening. Ask God for the grace to know when to move and when to pause. You can say in your heart, if this is from you, it will still be there. When I am ready in your time, I do not want to grab what is not yet prepared or cling to what you are gently asking me to release. That kind of surrender pulls you out of frantic urgency and into a calmer trust. Think too, about the decisions you make about yourself, what you say to your own heart. Do you choose harsh words or kind ones? Do you decide over and over that you are a failure, or do you agree with God that you are loved, forgiven, and still in process? Placing your decisions in God's hands also means letting Him shape the way you see yourself. When you are tempted to speak curses over your life, "I will never change, I always mess up, I can't be trusted," stop and hand those sentences to Him. Replace them with truth. With God, I can grow. With God, my past does not own me. With God, I am learning to choose better. This is not fake positivity. It is cooperation with grace. As this time of prayer quietly stretches out, imagine yourself standing at the door, ready to step fully into the day. Before you open it, you lean your forehead gently against it for just a second and say, "God, I am walking out with you." You are not promising to be perfect. You are simply deciding that every time you feel overwhelmed, you will come back to this inner place, to this surrender. You will keep handing Him your choices again and again, as often as it takes. There is no limit to how many times you can say, "God, I put this in your hands." He doesn't get tired of hearing it. He is a Father who would rather hold your repeated surrender than watch you break under silent pressure. Carry this assurance with you as you go. Even when you do not feel deeply spiritual, even when your prayer is messy or distracted, God still receives it. He sees the smallest movement of our heart toward Him, and He treasures it. Your simple desire to put your decisions in His hands is already a powerful prayer. As you walk through your day, let every choice, from the words you speak to the paths you take, be a quiet echo of this morning's offering. And when night comes and you look back, may you be able to say, not "I did everything perfectly, but I did not walk alone. I tried again and again to trust God with every decision." That is a beautiful, strong, and deeply holy way to live. ChatGPT Janoi. Somewhere deep inside, there is a place in you that already knows this is the right way to live. You feel it when you stop rushing for a moment and notice that your soul breathes easier when you are not trying to be in control of everything. You sense it when you remember the times God quietly worked things out in ways you never could have planned. That same place in you is being invited again this morning, to trust that if you give Him your decisions, He will not waste them. He will not ignore them. He will shape them into something more beautiful than you can see right now. As a day stretches ahead like a long road, you might be tempted to measure it by productivity, by how much you get done, by how well you perform in each task. But what if you measured today by something different? By how often you turned your heart toward God in the middle of everything. Every time you pause, even for a brief second, and say inside, "God, this is yours," you are choosing a different way of living. You are stepping out of the heavy role of "I have to run my whole life" and into the safer place of "I walk with the one who holds my life." This shift might be quiet on the outside, but it changes the entire atmosphere of your soul. When you feel that familiar pull to overthink, to rehearse every possible outcome until you're exhausted, notice it gently. Do not scold yourself. Just recognize what is happening. Your heart is trying to protect itself by predicting everything. In that moment, imagine placing all the swirling thoughts into God's hands one by one. You can picture your mind as a table covered with scattered papers, worries, plans, what ifs, old regrets, future fears, and you slowly gather them into a stack and slide them toward Him. He sees each one. He knows which are important and which are just noise, and He stays with you as you choose the next simple, faithful step instead of trying to solve your whole life at once. When you think about your future, the dreams you carry, the goals you haven't spoken out loud, the hopes you're almost afraid to admit, there can be a mix of excitement and fear. You may wonder, what if I choose wrong? What if I miss my calling? In those questions, God is not angry with you. He understands the weight you feel, but He also wants to remind you that His guidance is not fragile. Your destiny is not a thin line that you can easily fall off forever. When your heart is turned toward Him, He knows how to lead you, even through detours and delays. You can trust that if you keep saying, God, I want your will more than my own, He will weave even your imperfect decisions into His larger plan. In the quieter corners of your heart, there may be decisions you are avoiding, truth you do not want to face, apologies you do not want to offer, changes you know you need to make but keep postponing. These are often the heaviest, not because they are complicated, but because they touch deep places of pride, fear, or pain. And bring these into the light too. Imagine sitting with God and sliding those hidden decisions across the table between you. No excuses, no pretending, just honest surrender. You might say inside, this scares me, but I want to trust you with it. Give me courage to do what is right, not just what is comfortable. That kind of honesty is the soil where real freedom grows. There will be moments today when you will feel pressure to respond quickly, to answer a message, to agree to a request, to react to someone's attitude. In those fast moments, you may not have time for a long prayer, but you can still choose surrender. A simple thought lifted up to God. Guide me here. Help me answer with love. Protect my heart right now is enough. Surrender is not always dramatic. Often it is hidden inside tiny everyday responses. And over time, all those hidden surrenders begin to shape your character, your relationships, and your peace. As you look at the responsibilities that cannot be changed, the ones that are not optional, the things you must face, remember that surrender does not mean escape. It does not mean you walk away from what matters. Instead, it means you walk into those same responsibilities with a different posture. You still show up at work. You still care for your family. You still pay the bills. You still handle what is in front of you, but you do it with a heart that has already said, God, this is for you. Use it. Be in it. Strengthen me for it. That is how ordinary tasks become holy offerings. Think about the decisions you've made that still make you feel ashamed, the ones that sometimes resurface when you are tired or fragile, whispering that you don't deserve joy, that you don't deserve guidance, that you have broken too much. When those thoughts rise, bring them into this moment of prayer. Picture them as heavy stones you have been carrying around in a bag over your shoulder. One by one, take them out and place them at the foot of the cross in your mind. You can't change the past, but you can surrender its power over you. Ask God to teach you what you need to learn from those choices, and then to help you walk forward lighter, wiser, and more compassionate toward others. When you start to compare your decisions to those of other people, thinking they are braver, wiser, more successful, it can drain your joy and poison your trust. You might feel like you're always behind, always choosing too late or too little. In those moments, remind your heart gently, God is not judging your life by someone else's timeline. He has a personal path for you, one that fits your story, your heart, your growth. Surrendering your decisions to Him also means surrendering the need to keep up with others. You can say quietly inside, God, I trust the pace you have for me. I choose to focus on being faithful, not on competing. That choice creates space for gratitude instead of resentment. As the day moves on and you begin to feel tired, it may be tempting to take shortcuts, to say things you don't really mean, to agree to things just to avoid conflict, to ignore the small nudges of your conscience. These are decision points too, even though they look small from the outside. Ask God now at the start of the day to stay close to you in those late-hour moments when your patience is thin. Ask Him to remind you that integrity is built in the quiet, tired choices, when no one is watching, when no one will praise you for doing the right thing. Knowing that He sees you and delights in your faithfulness can give you strength to keep choosing well, even when you feel worn out. When night eventually comes, imagine yourself sitting again in God's presence, looking back over the hours you have lived. There will be choices you are proud of, moments when you followed His gentle lead. There may also be moments you wish you'd handled differently. Instead of hiding from Him, bring everything into the light. You can picture yourself laying the whole day down like a book you place in His hands, every page, every decision, every word, and you ask Him to breathe on it, to bless what was good, to forgive what was not, to heal what was hurt, and to use all of it for growth. This rhythm, surrender in the morning, surrender in the evening, slowly anchors your life in His presence. Right now, as this time of prayer continues, notice if there is one particular area where you feel God inviting you to a deeper trust. Maybe it's a relationship, a habit, a dream, or a crossroads. Hold that area gently before Him in your heart and let your inner words be simple. God, I don't know exactly what to do, but I want this to belong to You. Lead me. You do not have to rush out of this moment with perfect clarity. It is enough to leave this prayer knowing that your decisions are no longer something you carry alone. They are resting in the hands that formed you, loved you, and have never once let you out of their care. Walk into the rest of this day with that quiet confidence. You will still have questions. You will still have choices, and sometimes you will still feel the weight of them. But underneath that weight, there is a stronger truth. You are not abandoned to yourself. You are being guided little by little by a God who is both patient and powerful. Every time you choose to place a decision in His hands, you are not losing control. You are choosing the safest place it could ever be. And as you keep doing that day after day, you will slowly discover that your life is being shaped not by fear, but by trust, not by chaos, but by grace, not by your limited strength, but by the faithful love of God who walks with you through it all. There is a quiet strength that grows in you each time you choose to place your decisions back into God's hands. You may not feel it happening in the moment, but slowly, almost like the sunrise that moves from faint gray to warm gold, something inside you is changing. You are no longer driven only by panic or pressure. You are learning a new rhythm. Pause, look to Him, surrender, then walk forward with the light you have. This is not weakness. This is the courage of someone who knows they are loved and led. As you move through the hours ahead, remember that God cares about every layer of your choices. He cares about the visible ones that everyone sees and the hidden ones that only you and He will ever know. He is present in the big turning points and in the tiny everyday crossroads. How you respond to a harsh word, whether you tell the truth when it would be easier to lie, whether you choose bitterness or blessing when someone disappoints you. Each time you whisper inside, "God, I put this in your hands," you are letting Him write on the pages of your story. What looks small to you can become holy in His presence. Think of your heart as a house with many rooms. Some rooms you gladly show to God, your prayers, your dreams, your hopes. Other rooms you tend to keep dim, doors half closed, your fears, your jealousies, the secrets you are not proud of. This morning, imagine slowly walking with Him through that house. Room by room, you open the doors and let His light in. You do not need to explain everything perfectly. You simply stand there with Him and say, "I want even this room to belong to you. Help me decide from this place in a way that honors you." Little by little, the house becomes brighter. Little by little, your decisions begin to flow from a heart that is honest and free, not from a heart that is hiding. And when you feel tired of surrendering, because yes, it can feel tiring to keep handing the same worries to God, remember that He never tires of receiving you. A loving Father does not grow bored when His child reaches up again and again. He is not counting how many times you have struggled with the same fear or circled around the same decision. Instead, He is grateful for every moment you choose to turn toward Him rather than away from Him. You can say, even with a weary soul, "God, I am tired, but I still choose your hands. I do not know how everything will work out, but I know I do not want to walk without you." That simple choice is already a powerful prayer. When doubts come and whisper, "What if God doesn't answer? What if He leaves you stuck?" Let truth answer back. God has already proven His heart for you in Jesus. He has already stepped into our human story, carried our sin, and opened the way for us to live close to Him. A God who went that far to love you will not suddenly become indifferent to the decisions that weigh on you today. You may not always receive the answer you were expecting, but you will never be abandoned. Even in silence, He is working. Even in delay, He is shaping something good. One day you will look back and see how His hand was guiding you in places where you felt only confusion. So as you stand at the edge of this day with all its unknowns, let this be the quiet declaration of your heart. God, I place every decision, every plan, every path into your faithful hands. I choose to trust your wisdom above my own understanding. I choose to walk not by fear of what might go wrong, but by faith in your love that never fails. Hold on to that as you step forward. When you forget, return to it. When you feel overwhelmed, repeat it slowly until your breathing steadies and your heart remembers that it is held. If this prayer has met you where you are, keep coming back to it. Let it be a gentle reminder on the days when your mind is crowded and your heart is heavy. And if it has brought you even a little bit of peace, I invite you to stay with this space. Subscribe to the channel, share this with someone who needs it, and join again for more moments of prayer and surrender. Until we meet in the next time of prayer, may God guard your heart, guide your decisions, and fill your day with the quiet confidence that your life is safely held in His hands. And as you go, remember that growth is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it looks like choosing a softer answer when anger rises, or pausing to pray before you reply, or refusing to agree with the lie that says you are alone in this right now. You are not alone. Heaven is nearer than your next breath, and God is closer than every thought that scares you. So walk gently, breathe deeply, and keep turning your heart toward Him in the middle of real life. This is how surrender becomes your way of living, not just a moment of emotion. This is how, step by step, today becomes a day lived fully in God's hands. Thank you for praying. May His peace guard you today and through night, and keep your heart close to Him.